Hello, my name is Mrs. Shoup, and today we're going to be rounding some decimals. Today we will learn how to round decimals to the nearest whole, tenth, and hundredth place values. Before we begin rounding, we need to know, why do we round numbers? We can round numbers to make it simpler and easier to do mental math in our heads. Some words that might tell you to round in a word problem are about, approximate, or estimate. Let's jump in. Let's round 13 6/10 to the nearest whole number. I can use a number line to see what my number rounds to. On my number line, I can see that 13 6/10 is between 13 and 14, but closer to 14. That would mean that 13 6/10 is about 14. It would round to the whole number 14. Let's round 3 1200ths to the nearest tenth. I can use a number line this time as well to see that 13 1200ths is between 13 1000ths and 13 2000ths, but closer to 13 1000ths. That means that 13 1200ths rounded to the nearest tenth would be 13 1000ths, or 13 1/10. Let's round 7 45,000ths to the nearest hundredth. On my number line, I can see that 7 45,000ths is between 7 40,000ths and 7 50,000ths. It's right in the middle. If our number that we are rounding is right in the middle, we always round up. So 7 45,000ths would round up to 7 50,000ths. When we are at the grocery store and need to estimate the cost of something, we won't be able to pull out a number line to practice rounding. We will have to find another way. Let's practice rounding without the use of a number line. When I am rounding a number, I first need to rewrite the number. My number I'm rounding today is 93 1500ths. Now I'm going to find the place value I'm rounding to. My problem says to round 93 1500ths to the nearest whole number. In my problem, the nearest whole number would be the ones place. I'm going to look next door to the right of the number. Now I will just focus on this number 31. I know that 31 is between 30 and 40, but closer to 30. I'm going to rewrite 30 underneath. Now everything in front stays the same. Everything behind becomes a 0. I just bring my decimal down. So I know that 93 1500ths would round to 93. I can rewrite my number without the decimal and the zeros, just as 93. This problem says round 9 172,000ths to the nearest tenth. Even when I'm rounding to a different place, I can still use the same method. First, rewrite my number, 9 172,000ths. I'm going to find my place. I'm rounding to the nearest tenth. That's right behind the decimal. Find your place. Look next door to the right. I'm looking at the number 17. 17 is between 10 and 20, but closer to 20. So I'm going to write 20 underneath. Everything in front stays the same, including the decimal. Everything behind becomes a 0. Now remember, with decimals, 9 200,000ths is the same as 9 2/10. Can you try this one on your own? Pause the video to challenge yourself. Now that you've had time to try to solve on your own, let's see how to round 24 599,000ths to the nearest hundredth. Remember, rewrite that number, 24 and 599 thousandths. Find your place. I'm rounding to the hundredths place, which is right here. Look next door to the right. So my number is 99. I know 99 is between 90 and 100, but closer to 100. How do I write 100 mathematically? Let's think. 599 is close to 600. So I think that my 599 thousandths is going to be 600 thousandths. My number rounded to the hundredths place is actually going to be 24 and 600 thousandths, or 24 and 6/10ths. I hope you enjoyed learning how to round decimals to the nearest whole, tenth, and hundredth today.